Welcome back to Market Talk. I'm your host Ibrahim Sani. Today we are in Japan because we are attending a particular event that is hosted by UD Trucks. I am currently in the headquarters of UD Trucks. Joining me is of course Tan Keng Meng, the Executive Director of TCIE or Tan Chong Industrial Equipment. So Tan, I want to talk about the UD Trucks group. Let's focus on this. How is UD Trucks related in terms of business relationship with TCIE?
Currently, our UD Trucks principal is basically UD Trucks Group. They are based in Japan with regional office in Singapore. They are the provider of our products, basically, and they are also the brand owner of the UD brand.
Let's talk about Tan Chong Motors, the retail side. Who are their principals and how is it different from the TCIE principal?
We have, of course, the Nissan. Nissan is with us for more than almost 6 years. We also have a Renault. Then we have also Infinity. Right.
Okay, you were mentioning that you need to clarify on the Volvo group and how it falls into the Renault Trucks. Could you clarify on that?
I want to correct that Renault has a Renault car, which is owned by Renault itself, and they have this alliance with Nissan. Our principal UD belongs to the Volvo Group. Volvo Group currently also owns the Renault Truck brand. All right, so there are different, what do you call that, Renault in context in this Renault car and Renault.
I think finally we can jump into the core question that I want to ask today, which is how important is UD Trucks to TCIE and Tan Chong Motors for that matter?
We have started, of course, the truck business way back about 39 years ago. At that time, UD Trucks was known as Nissan Diesel, as an extension of the Nissan cars. Over the years, truck business has grown. We have yearly sales of about more than 1,000 units. So as a contribution, it is a very important contribution for us. Our owners always believe we are either people mover or goods mover. So for us, we have many years of history in moving goods in the country. As the country evolves, we play a part in the history, in terms of evolutions of how products, how things are moved in the country.
It's very interesting that you say that Tan Chong focuses on either being a people mover or a goods mover. How does this compare with other markets? I mean, you guys are big in Malaysia, but you guys are not in other markets. However, Tan Chong Motors is. What would be the challenges of you entering other markets?
It's not for lack of want. I think we understand that the truck business is quite complicated. You have to be at the place, as what we say, Gemba, to understand the needs of the customers at each place, because each trucks operator has different requirements, different environment that they operate. So for us, we are going, but it's not that we have not. We are now investigating. And then of course, getting the resources to expand into an overseas operation is not easy.
I got to stay on that point when you say complicated. What do you mean by that?
I won't say it's a big challenge in that sense. If you look at the car business, we have basically the rights to distribute in all these countries. So Nissan has given them the franchise distribution rights to the country. At the moment, we only have the UD Trucks for Malaysia. So of course, we are looking at opportunities and looking at other possibilities in starting a truck business. So I think if you look at that context, yes, the car business is easier because you have the support of the principal and the distribution rights in those countries, while at the moment UD has their own distribution in those countries. So we are working on that, of course.
The B2B sector of the auto industry is an interesting discussion to talk about. People often describe that it's easier to sell to retail customers it's more difficult, to sell to retail customers than it is to sell to B2B clients. Is this true in your case?
Well, in the truck ownership business, I think there are various aspects of how business owner look at things. First, the business owner needs to look at the product, and if he's happy with the product, he make one decision. Second, he has to understand whether the service provider is able to provide what he needs in the after sales. The third thing is if he has a fleet, he will generally like to keep that fleet so that he's concerned about spare parts and all these things are commonized. All right, and finally, of course, he looks at the suitability of the product with his requirements. So these are few of the factors that will compare differently with a retail. A retail guy in the car side will look at individual needs, but in the commercial side, he has various aspects to look at, because first thing is cost, second thing uptime, third thing he has a customer he has to meet with these trucks.
The Senior Vice President of UD Trucks, Nobuhiko Kishi, said that there is this Gemba spirit. You have used it in your statements just now. One of them is to reduce downtime, another one is to improve safety of drivers. How does this translate into TCIE doing business?
Yeah, we are very much into it. One of the key things that we need to do is to align the philosophy with our principle. So we are very into the situation of a global product for the local market. As distributor, our responsibility has always been the local scene, providing the network infrastructure, providing the people resources, providing the skill at site, provide 24 hours mobile services, rescue team, and of course, one of the key areas that why we are here in this UDEMC is basically to ensure that the customers' drivers are being trained to drive carefully in terms of safety, first thing. Second thing is to maximize the advantage for the owner of the trucks, that fuel economy, cycle time, trip time, uptime, all these are taken care of.
So now we'll take a short break, but when we come back, we'll discuss a little bit more about the concept of principles and who the principal of TCIE is. Don't go anywhere. Market Talk. I'm your host Ibrahim Sani, here to discuss the very notion of the auto industry. And of course, joining me is Mr. Tan Keng Meng, the ED or the Executive Director of Tan Chong Industrial Equipment, the sole distributor of UD Trucks in Malaysia. Let's talk about let me be blunt here. UD Trucks is organizing this competition. Why would a distributor attend this competition?
Well, basically, I think we share the same principle as our principle. Okay, sorry for the principle thing. Mm-hmm. The UD Extra Mile Challenge has 4 objectives basically. To ensure that the drivers have good fuel economy, has good cycle time, drive safely, and ensuring that maximize the vehicle. So the 4 aspects they will do is pre-inspection, making sure everything is okay, driving safely, and then driving at the optimum timing, right? And finally, of course, making sure that his goods are not damaged, basically. So these are the things that we certainly believe ourselves that if our customers' drivers are being trained in that areas, the customer itself will have the advantage of cost savings. So we like to say we go the extra mile so that our customer can go the extra mile too. So that's the philosophy of the UDEMC in this case.
This is the 3rd year running in terms of the competition being held, 2015, 2016, 2017 being the 3rd year. How has previous competitions affect your way of doing things back home? Has it changed the way you sell the vehicles to your clients?
2015 is probably limited to the cone business, which is not in Malaysia. We started participating in 2016, and we had representation from our customers in 2016, and we were here November last year, and our representative actually won the overall title of UDEMC Championship. For us, it has provided a platform for us to bring the customers to understand the philosophy behind this. Many times we can talk to our customer and say that our product will give you this. But today's conference we have with our customers, we see the excitement in their face. They were looking at the points that and the tips that was given by the driver development managers. How do you make sure all these advantages to the owners, and they could realize this is something that maybe some of them for the first time they're hearing it. So I believe this is one way the distributor play important part. We bring the customer who are very close to us to share the spirit of this fuel economy or fuel challenge that we putting on for the UD.
There are other distributors here as well, from Indonesia, from Thailand. Do you see them as competition?
Certainly for this challenge, we see them as competitors. But in the whole context of the business, I think we see them as also partners. They are, they are the distributor right. They have distributor rights in their own respective countries. I think we don't interfere with their market, so I don't see that as an issue.
And looking ahead for 2018, you mentioned that early in the interview. How has 2017 treated TCIE? Has 2017 been kind to TCIE? And how will this change in 2018?
Well, 2017 has been reasonably okay in that sense. You still see a growth in the construction, which is basically our segment is basically general logistic construction and some other specialty. Both the logistic as well as the construction has been growing, and based on the projection by the budget these sectors will continue to grow. So for us, we've launched our new product back in 2013 with the Questers. This year in August we launched the Kroner. I think we are in a position to take advantage of this growth.
Well, Mr. Tan, thank you for having a chat with me this afternoon. I've had the utmost pleasure of speaking to a representative, a high representative at that, from Tanjung Motors. This is me signing off from Markets Today. Be sure to follow us on all our social sites, including Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 5011. And remember, you can also listen to this interview on your podcast. Just search for Astro Awani or Market Talk wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Ibrahim Sani. Thank you very much for joining, and goodbye.